What's up, y'all? It's Dark with DLD After Dark. Today, we are going to talk about a very important accessory. That's right, you guessed it. We're going to talk about the Linear Inertial Decoupler. The Linear Inertial Decoupler. Yeah, the lid. The lid. The booster. The piston. The Neilson device. How many names can you pick to come up like, Jesus, man, just name it one thing. But all jokes aside, this does have 5 or 6 names. People typically refer to it as a booster or a piston, but let's talk about like why this exists. Like, why is it important, and under what circumstances would it not need to exist on a firearm platform? So, as I mentioned, this is the LID. LID is an acronym. It stands for the Linear Inertial Decoupler. So what does that mean? What does it do? Okay, so when you have a sound suppressor, this is the Gymtech multi-mount 9mm suppressor. And when this came out, this was like cutting edge because it was a multi-mount. You could mount it to multiple firearms. It's full auto rated. You could shoot 300 blackout subsonic through it full auto. Like this was like the shit. But not so much anymore now, because that's in like every, cam that you can get. That's just in basic in production. But what's important about the device that's on it is what it does. So when you have a firearm that uses a Browning style design, it has a tip up barrel with lockup, right? So a lot of people, like first time gun owners, they open it up and they're like, mine's broken, right? This is, and it's obviously, you have it lined up with the angle of the magazine too. And when you are hanging a 9-inch long, big dongle from it, you could potentially have some issues if you don't have something aiding in the functionality of this, or the loading or slide reciprocation. So people typically refer to it as a booster, like I said, and a lot of people think that I've spoken to, that it boosts the slide in the barrel for it to reciprocate, which isn't entirely wrong, and it also isn't entirely true. So we're going to talk about that. So this booster, and I'll actually take it off and break it down for you and show you this booster. When you pull the trigger, for all you safety stylies out there, when you pull the trigger, go bang, the slide goes back, and if you were to not have a lid on this, then you would just have a big heavy mass hanging on the end of a barrel that really needs to tip up to match the angle of the magazine for reliable feeding. So to give it almost like it's kind of cool, almost like a split second of zero gravity kind of thing. The bullet, the explosion, the gases, everything traveling through the can and all the baffles pushes it forward just the slightest bit, not even that much. If you watch slow-mo of a suppressor, you'll see it moving forward, right? The reason it does that is for a brief moment, while this is unlocking and sliding backwards, and the lid is working, doing its thing, it's removing that weight for that brief moment, and it is due to the explosion, the round, and the gases and all that pressure pushing it out, which is why it pushes out. And it allows it to tip up for reliable feeding and, eject the spent casing and then go back home with a round in the chamber. And it's kind of cool because it's something that's so simple. Because if you take it and you break it down, here, I'll put this up here so I don't broadcast my serial number of my suppressor on YouTube. Safe. This device is very simple. So you have your mounting device right here, which just with your hands, usually, sometimes you need a tool. For this, you don't need a tool. for this specific one. Some companies you may require one. You unscrew it, take it out, and this is what made this at the time, like 10 years ago, like so cool, is you could remove this. Now this, you just pop your end cap off, you have your spring, and then you have your piston. This is your actual piston. Now this is thread in the American as fuck 1/2 by 28. I don't know if you can focus on that. 1/2 by 28, whatever. I have another one that's like 13.5 by 1 left-hand thread, and which is the UK as fuck version. But this is a very simple design. Drop piston in, put end cap on, shove in, mount, twist till it no twist. And you don't need to do it like crazy tight or anything. And then literally just spin it on, boom. And then you have your linear inertial decoupler, your lid, your piston, your booster, your Neilson device installed. Now, when is it not needed? So a lot of people take their gun with their lid on it and run it on platforms that are completely unnecessary. And all that does is add a crazy amount of fouling to the lid, which should be used for like what it mechanically needs to be used for, which is operating a semi-automatic handgun. But when you have, say, a fixed barrel firearm, then what you can do, because this is the multi-mount. They actually had an upper back in the day where it was threaded in that exact thread, which I don't know what it is, and you could literally just like thread it onto the handguard and have an integrally suppressed 9mm AR upper. It was actually by Gym Tech. It was pretty sick. But you just put this is just a mount. It is hollow. There's no piston, no anything inside of that, and the mount itself is threaded in 1/2 by 28 as opposed to the piston. So you put on your mount, make it just hand tight, and then you take your Stark Industries Scorpion, and then this is direct thread, so come on, for all you tri-lug guys out there, sorry. I mean, yeah, QD is the shit, okay? All right, I get it, but that's why you just always have a can on it. Okay, so this is a fixed barrel. The barrel has no need to move. It does not need to move. If it does move during live fire, I'm in trouble, or at least the gun is. So a fixed barrel, usually rifles, typically, don't need a lid. There's no mechanical need for it. Even, fun fact, even semi-automatic 22s typically have fixed barrels. I also know that a lot of people say, like a Beretta, that design, because of that little piece under the barrel, that doesn't need a booster because it is essentially operating as a fixed barrel. I don't know that to be true. I do believe that it can run without a booster, but hey, teach their own. But if there's an opportunity to not gunk up your lid, that, or your piston, or your booster, or your Neilson device, or your linear inertial decoupler, then I would say do it up. But if you're running a direct thread on a Scorpion with a binary trigger, then man, that thing is a blast. I just thought it was important that we discuss this, man. Like, no one talks about it, but it's on almost every single pistol suppressor that you could possibly get that's in production right now. And I've run this thing on everything, man, which is all Glocks. But no, I run it on everything. It's a great platform. So guys, I hope this was at least helpful, provided maybe some insight. It was actually one of the people in our community, a viewer, that brought it up. I thought it'd be a good talking point. So obviously, like, share, subscribe, and remember to be dangerous, practice violence, exercise violence responsibly, and be as dangerous as you possibly can. Love y'all. Peace.